First, we've got Nancy's assignment here. Hi, Nancy. So, um, yeah, here's the heads. I'm just clicking on these and middle mouse dragging to check them out. It looks like you got this working fine. Got some good shapes here. I'm gonna open the mouth to see that last one. So the only thing that's a little odd about this one is that the teeth are moving with the tongue. But to be frank, you don't usually see the tongue that much in facial animation anyway, so it's not too much of a worry. But you could fix that if you wanted to. But yeah, the other seems to be working well. I noticed that these look like they need to be reversed. That would be surfaces, edit NURBS, reverse surface direction to get that color back. Maybe it's just some error when I imported the file. I don't know. But if you're having it for these hands, it would be. It wouldn't be. Those aren't NURBS, so that would be under polygons, and those would be normals, reverse, and get the color back in those hands. So you want to go through if you're having the same problem I'm seeing here and fix those for all those black surfaces. Yeah, but basically, good job. It's working well. I probably want to add a nose in there. I think the eyes will be covered in the next module after this one. Next up is Lojane. So yeah, once again, I just select the head, click on the blend shape, click on the shape, and then middle mouse drag. And so for this one, I would say that the wide is too subtle, that you should push that further. You should be able to change it after the fact. I've just turned on target heads. This is one wide right here. Let me just hit the up arrow to get the group. Yeah, there's wide. So you could just grab some of these verts. I've got soft select on right now, so that should work pretty well. R for scale. Oops, did I select something in the back? I think I did. Okay, just did control select to get rid of that selection. So that's much further. Let's test that out on here. There we go. And the thing is, you don't have to go all the way, right? So I could do, that's about halfway, right? If I wanted a smaller wide. But to have the flexibility to go further, can be helpful down the line. Frown. And again, yeah, I might. So it's okay to push these shapes a little bit more to the extreme because you don't ever have to use the full range. You don't have to go all the way to 1. You use part of it. Whoops. Smile. So that one's much bigger. Although I might have done a smile without opening the mouth because your smile and your open are about the same. And see the tongue thing here. And whoops. And then the O shape, which is very useful. It's a good one to have. Good. Yeah, so overall this is good. Again, you'll want to build a nose. And yeah, and maybe this is something when I'm opening these files that I keep getting this, but if you are getting these black surfaces, once again for NURBS, it's going to be surfaces, edit NURBS, reverse surface direction, and for polygons like the hands, it's going to be polygons, normals, reverse to get those back to normal. And again, if you're not having that problem, don't worry about it. But if you see these black surfaces, that's what you want to do. This is Lucas, and he's done these nice renders for us where we can see the textures. There's a boot, and even on the face, you'll see the skin has a texture, and the clothing. That's really great. You're taking it the extra mile, and nice shape to the face. You can really see the chin and the sort of under nose crease here and stuff, and nicely shaped nose and ears. So yeah, it's great. You're kind of taken to the next level. It's really good. Let's take a look at the file. So one thing to know is that in Maya, when you do a texture, it doesn't embed the texture file in the Maya file. So if I go to Hypershade, I'm just going to hold down spacebar for Hotbox, click in the bottom section, and go over to Hypershade. If I, for example, graph the materials on the selected object, which is this button right here, and double click on this texture, you'll see that it's looking for a file called skin texture, so which is in your D drive, blah 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 blah. So unless you send these files to, it's not possible for me to see it in Maya, which is okay. I don't necessarily need to see it in Maya, and this assignment's about BlendJS, but I just wanted you to know that if you do want me to be able to see the textures inside the file, that I need the texture images as well. And actually, let's go back to the Hypershade real quick. If you just go to textures, here you can see a list of all the various files, and this shows where they are. And that's good, you're putting them in your source images directory, which is where they are supposed to go. So yeah, this is a good looking face on this character. It's got a lot of style to it. Let's just take a look. So you've got that base head, which I guess has an open mouth and wide. And I think same as what I said on that last one, which is that exaggerate this more. That's very subtle movement. You can get more of these points involved with it. Let's open that up and see the tongue thing. Okay. And said, yeah, and again, I would go a little more exaggerated on that. Oh, and that's sort of a snarl. That's good. Yeah, so those are good. I would just go bigger on. Looks like this is that's the wide one. So once again, just like I did on the other one, I would probably. Why is it not showing my control vertices? That's very weird. So I just need to go to show all, and it's showing these again. Okay. So I might grab this one, and I have soft select turned on. That's B for soft select. I can toggle that on and off. Just click this one to be symmetrical. And then I'll use R for scale. And I can quickly stretch that out, and maybe you want to move this back a little bit just to get the face a little more rounded when we do that. See how that looks? Get it a little more three-dimensional. So let's see how that looks on the character. And when I did show all, it showed some stuff we don't want. So I would just go show none, show surfaces, polygons. Yeah, and so you don't have to go all the way wide if you don't want to. You could go part of the way, but when you could go even further than I did with that, and you just have that leeway to have that range of control. So it's okay to go bigger on the blend. I would say the blend shape is the maximum you would ever want to push that shape, and then you can always animate it to where it goes less than that much. A little good work on this. So we've got Sheng Xiang, and so here's the character, and obviously this is very different because you're doing this pumpkin head thing, and I wanted to show you an alternative approach for the mouth because this looks, I mean, you could use that, but it looks strange, and you don't really have a good option for animating it. So I'm going to delete this, and what I would suggest for something like this is animated mouth, where you actually animate the texture of the mouth. So you kind of paint a series of mouths and animate which painting of the mouth you're currently showing. This will lend itself to a a little bit more of a 2D style, and unless you make a lot of mouth shapes, it's going to be this kind of a little jumpy, because it's going to change from pop from one to the other. You can't really blend it that well, but it's sort of like a South Park animated mouth type style, like the TV show South Park. Anyways, I thought I'd show you how to do it so you'd have the option. So first thing I did was I went into Photoshop and I made a couple different mouth shades, and obviously you'll want to do more, and really we should probably make the image size. By the way, I did 1024 by 1024. You could make that bigger. I wouldn't go much smaller, but I think what I would recommend actually is to leave more space around the mouth when you do it than I did here. I think I'm gonna get away with it, but I would make them a little smaller with more room around them, and then just make sure they're kind of right on top of each other. And then save out each mouth shape, and it's important how the way you name it. So I'm going to save this as this will be mouth.1.tiff, and I'm using the TIFF file format, and I already saved it. And this one will be mouth.2.tiff, and if you do a third shape, it would be .3, and fourth shape, etc., etc. Into Maya, I'm going to right mouse click here and show two panes side by side, and I've got the hypershade here. I can hold down the space bar and go to hypershade to fill that in, and to see the current one, I'll just select this and then hit graph materials on selected object, and I'm going to let's just click here. I'm going to map a stencil onto this, so I'm going to do color map. Well, let me pick stencil. I don't see it. One thing that's a little quicker is if you type in stencil. It's not showing up, and I think that's because it's under utilities actually, and we don't have utilities shown right now. So as soon as I click on utilities, it's giving me that option. So we lost the color. Don't worry, we'll get it back. In fact, I'll just go right now to I think it's color gain, and I'll just go ahead and click on your orange. No, is it default color? There we go. I guess we can put color gain back to that 50% gray. Alright, so then the stencil, this is a little tricky. We're going to project it onto the face. So image, and then so I've got the stencil selected, image, map, and let's just delete this because that's hiding everything. Now I'm not going to click on the word file. I'm going to right mouse click and do create as projection, and then we have to adjust that projection. So let's reorganize our hypershade thing here. So it's getting complicated, I know. We've got the projection node itself, we've got the stencil, we've got this place 3D texture mode, and we have this file. So let's do the file first. Let's browse, and let's start out with mouth.1. And let's take the projection node here, that's this guy here, and hit fit to group bounding box, and it should fit that on there. And make sure I hit 6 for textured mode, and in the renderer I'm going to go to viewport 2.0 so that looks nice and sharp. And you can see it's a bit too big on him. And so I'll scale it down a bit. And you can see this is where it would have been helpful to have a bigger one. And I think for dealing with this stuff, what I might do is just to make it easy, let's kind of separate this out. Let's get another material, and let's just go ahead and assign that to the whole head, and I'll make this same orange, and let's just take these front faces, whoops, of the head, and let's assign this to those front faces, and that way we get the that texture just on the front and not on the rest of it. Didn't we already have this orange? There we go. Okay. So something like that, you know, I can move this down. And now, so you've got that on there. There's another, I know there's a lot of steps, there's another really important step, which is, so right now if I move the head, see how the texture doesn't move with it? It's sort of like, so if what I need to do is, under the texturing menu, or I believe it's rendering, you need to go to texturing, and with the surface selected, create texture reference object. And now if I rotate it, it doesn't look like it's working, but if I render, see it's working, it moved with it. So that solves that problem. So don't forget to do that step. Then the animation thing. So if I go back to this file here, and I'm going to turn on use image sequence, and right now, see how it automatically changes between 1 and 2, but you want to be able to manually control that. So I'm going to right mouse click here and delete the expression that's making it follow the frame number. And now I can just type in a number and it'll change the shape. So you kind of have to know which number is which shape. You'll create yourself a little key for that. But I could even make like a special control for that. I know this is getting a little advanced, but I can see in my history here when I changed that set editor file dot frame extension. So there's this thing called file1 dot frame extension, and I'll show you a trick where I'm just going to copy that, where we can make a control for that. So you can make new attributes, and I'll just put on this main curve just so it's easily accessible. Modify, add attribute, I'll call it, you know, mouth or something like that, and I'll change it to integer so it'll need its whole numbers, and then hit OK. So now there's this new thing called mouth, and then we have to hook that up. So I'll click on the word mouth and I'll do edit expressions, and I'll just say, let me just paste that thing I copied, file1 dot frame extension, and I'll just say, and I'll copy this right here, selected object and attribute, copy, paste, and I'll just equals. So this attribute that I just made up equals that number that changes the mouth shape, file1 frame extension, create, and you see that turns, I think I did that backwards. Yes, I did that backwards. Let me undo that. So it should be the other way around, I guess. So I don't know if I can put this here. Let's give it a shot. File1 frame extension. So it's like we want this number here to control that, not the other way around. Okay, give me an error. That's not good. Oh no, it's working. Great. So now you can just select this thing, and I'm using my middle mouse drag, and so if you had like several of them, you could just drag through and find the shape and keyframe those. And I would approach doing the mouse shapes as something like that if you decide to it. And again, it's going to be sort of that, depending on how many mouse shapes you make, it's going to be that sort of jumpier South Park style, but that can be kind of cool too. So I know that was pretty involved. Let me know if you want to try it, if you need any help, have any questions. This is a Victoria. I tried this out. They're not. Doesn't seem to be working here. Not sure why. I'll just create another one. Whoops. Yeah, animation, create deformer, blend shape. There's a new one. Okay, so these. Oh, okay. I would actually. Let's get rid of this lattice here. Is there another lattice on there? Oh, there is. Alright, let's see if that makes that work okay. Something's freaking it out. Let me, let's do this. Let's delete history off of this guy first. Then try that out again. Create deformers, blend shape. There we go. Okay, so that's working. Yeah, and the thing is, to me, is like he's got this big chin. Do you have that grouped? No. So I might. I guess I expected this whole big thing to kind of move, with his jaw, but I don't know if that was the intention. But you could take all these parts and then group them, and then kind of put the pivot point back there, and then rotate them if you wanted to. Let's just show that real quick. Control G for group. Hold down D to move the pivot point. Maybe to, oops, undo. D, maybe to here, and then I missed a piece. Child, shift that one up, P for parent. And then make sure you're selecting the whole group, up arrow. But I guess that's not really working. I don't know, I sort of thought that might move, but maybe not. Not sure what you had in mind. But yeah, so recreate the blend shape. Also, you're going to want to name these what they are. So, whatever, if this one's open, name that open right there, and then your blend shape sliders will be named appropriately. So just try recreating it. I don't know if you had it working. I don't know why it didn't work for me, but give it a shot. Next up is Malcolm. Got to open. Oh, by the way, when you're using these things, if you click here, if I middle mouse drag, see how that moves kind of quickly? If I hold down the Control key on the keyboard, I have much finer control over that, which is kind of nice. Yeah, again, like the ones I showed at the beginning, you might want to exaggerate that a little bit more. Could open this to see the tongue. Okay. And from... Yeah, again, I would exaggerate that frown a bit more, and snarl. Cool. Yeah, those are good. Should work well. And but yeah, I would just push the shapes a little further and make them bigger. Okay, this is Macarius. And let's take a look. Good. So that's kind of weird because that's wide. I would expect it to go out to the sides more, but it's just moving it up. TG2, and that one's the same. It looks like wide in this one. So I feel like something went a little wrong here, because those two look almost exactly the same, if not exactly the same. So I think you kind of need to redo your wide shape, fix that up. But you can fix it right on here, and then it should automatically update. TG2, not sure what that's supposed to be. Maybe frown. Well, no, you've got a frown right here. It's kind of weird the way the frown moves up. If anything, I would want it to move down. So maybe move that down a bit on your target shape. And yeah, the snarl looks good. One thing you can do, so like frown, like I can put it into position and then go to my frown. This one. Well, it's interesting that they're grouped differently now, I'm guessing. How are they? Or maybe you named them after the fact. That's a little tricky because the names don't match. Anyways, go ahead and edit the appropriate shapes, and I'm guessing frown would be this one. Might select the whole hole here. Whoops. And what's if you move this to 1, and now I can move it down. So I'm going to click here, and then I can middle mouse drag to move that, and I should see it live update. It is live updating there, if you'll see. Oh, that just looks kind of weird, but I think I need this other hole selected as well. This guy. It's moving down, but maybe not. Maybe just that one. Control click on this one. Let's try again. Just this one. Middle mouse drag. See that? I'm moving the whole thing down, and I can see that interactively here. And then see what that looks like when we move it. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so adjust those shapes, and you can make it a bit better. Got Robert here. Open, wide. Oh yeah, that's a little bit better. Yeah, I wouldn't have the teeth move, I don't think, like you do. You might want to sort of reset those. Frown, you could go a little bigger on that frown, a little more exaggerated if you want. And so that looks good. Yeah, these are working well. Kind of pretty standard, but if anything, just exaggerate them a little more. Good. So Lee is having a little trouble with the teeth, and let's just take a look. So first thing I notice is when these are zeroed out, they seem to be penetrating the face, and so I would say that we're going to want to move these guys back a bit. Oops, not the tongue. Not sure. Let's see. Okay, let's try moving these back, see if it screws anything up. Alright, so that maybe that was too much. Maybe just enough. Let's try that. So let's take a quick look at these now. Okay, that's better. It's not penetrating. The tongue is, though, now that I move that back, the tongue is now penetrating this a little bit. Let's see how that does when I... No. Well, and that's the other thing, what you might want to do instead, actually, I'm just going to choose Control Vertex and maybe select these two guys. and then B for soft select, and hold down B, click and drag, make a bit smaller of a selection, and just push that back in, right? So we're not moving the whole thing, just that part of it, and then that should, yeah, let's see how the tongue does now. Aha! Don't want to do that. So I don't know how or why you move the teeth with the tongue, but snarl, frown, tongue. This is the tongue. So somehow it doesn't look like you move the teeth. Oh, maybe it's this one as a tongue, maybe? Tongue too. No, I guess it's this one. Anyway, we'll want to select these. So it's hard to correct these after the fact, but yeah, I guess let's do this first. So I'll click on this, go to tongue, oops, and then now I need to move those back down. So which one did we say was the tongue? Up arrow, this one, and grab these. It's got to be the vertices themselves. Jesus. Control Shift select all those. All right. So now I can take a look at this and go back in there and click on this Y translate, and I can middle mouse drag to see to move that. So then move this back down, but it's going to be, problem is it's going to be tricky to make it perfect that way. So ideally you would not have moved them in the first place. Yeah, these are the verts. I don't think I can. I think if I zero that out, it'll just collapse the whole thing. No. That was weird. What did that do? It's interesting. I thought that would have moved them back into their default position, but it doesn't. Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I might go back and honestly, I think what I would do is I would delete the whole head group, duplicate it again where you don't have the teeth moved, and then shape the mouth again and then create the blend shape again. Honestly, I think that would be easier than trying to correct it after the fact. It won't take you long to make that tongue shape. And honestly, you could spend your time on something better than a tongue shape because it's pretty rare to really even see the tongue at all. Is that a problem with some of these other ones? I guess you don't even see it there. Some of the teeth moving thing. Yeah, it looks like the teeth are moving here too. So I think you've got a problem where the teeth are moved on some of these. So yeah, you might want to, I honestly, rather than fix the teeth. The other thing you can do actually is kind of a cool trick. Because we don't really ever want the teeth to move. So what I can do, let's try this, see if I can remember what I'm going for here. Okay, let's select those. Whoops. Component mode. What do I want to do? You can remove, edit deformers, edit membership tool, and then control. I think what I have to do is select the blend shape itself. So when we go window, let's actually, okay, let's do this. Sorry. Let's go show, isolate, select, view selected. Okay, so we just got those teeth in there. Now let's do window animation editors blend shape and select the blend shape itself. Then let's do edit deformers, edit membership tool. Then let's hold down control and select all those. Aha! You see them move back. So now none of these should control the teeth. Okay, let's get that visible again. So now, although they seem to be in the wrong position now, so you might have to move those back in position, but none of these should affect, yeah, they need to be moved back into position, but none of these controllers are going to affect them now that they're no longer a member of the blend shape. So yeah, once you remove them from the membership, then move them back into position and you won't have that problem anymore. All right. Okay, we've got Ryan. Ryan's textured his, which is coming along nicely. Let's take a look at those blend shapes. Smirk, call, snarl. Now, if you're pushing it this far, you actually might want to get the nose into it because, you might actually want to see that move a little bit with a snarl. Is this snarl? So I might grab like this for here, B for soft select, hold down B, make that bigger, move that up a bit. Because the nose indeed can move with the facial expression. Let's see how that looks for us. Doesn't that look a little better? I think it does. So for those extreme ones, you can actually include the nose in it. Where were we? And then bite and shout. Okay. So you've got, and yeah, then maybe move the nose with that one too. We can take a look. This one. Sort of looks like it's shrinking a little bit. I mean, part of the reason it looks like it's shrinking, I think, is because this area here is sort of kind of covering the nose a little bit. We don't have that much detail to work with here. But what I might do is, again, go back to this shape and probably take this little guy and, whoops, wrong one. Maybe down arrow. Nope. Not too many verts on this guy to control it. I think maybe we want this one. There we go. Okay, so now we're kind of keeping the nose when we're doing that. So see how it's not, less of the nose disappears there. Okay, yeah, could work on those. And we've got Brian finally. So I'm just gonna reset all these to start and take a look. Yeah, one thing with this tongue is that you might want to not change the face shape when you're moving the tongue at the same time. You probably want to isolate those. Yeah. So besides that, it looks good. You've got all the basics on there working. So good job on that. All right. Nice work, everybody.